How's it going? David here. Well, it's Friday, so that means it's Financial Fridays. This is where I go over just different tips and tricks on how to make better financial decisions. So I came across this article the other day, and it basically talks about how to manage financial differences as a couple. So just going through this article real quick, it gives you different little points and tips on how to manage finances together. One of the ways is consider having a split joint expenses. So basically, it's like when it comes down to going out to eat, if you're living together, rent and all that kind of stuff, you need to have conversations about how to split those expenses. Usually, the way I do it is based off of income. If my girlfriend makes less than me, then obviously when we go out, I'll pay majority of the times and she'll pay some of the times. Or when it comes time for rent or anything like that, I'll take the bigger lion's share of the rent than she will. It's just kind of, you have to talk about it and figure it out. I don't think that you should just have one person paying all the bills. Like, you each need to contribute as much as you can, whatever that may be. One of the things that did when she was going to school and she didn't make that much money, I would, when we went out, I'd always pay, but at home she would cook. That's her way of contributing. See, on the next one, it says set boundaries on essentials. So basically, these are things that if you're living together, you need to set boundaries. If someone really likes having the AC running 24/7, there are people like that, it costs a lot of money. So maybe set boundaries. It's like, hey, maybe we'll invest in a little fan, or maybe we'll open the windows, or, because if money's tight, you run the AC 24/7, you're going to have like $1,000 AC bill, and it's going to be super expensive. So, just setting boundaries and rules on things like that, or like water bills. I know I lived with a roommate, and they would literally wash the clothes every day and then wash their car in the driveway once a week. And the water bill was outrageous. So I was like, hey, maybe you should tone it down. So things like that. Create a fun fund. And that is basically setting money aside to, for like date night and things like that. So you have money, and it's not like, hey, what are we going to do? Oh, we're both broke and we have nothing to do. This way, it's like you set a little aside, maybe once a week, maybe every couple weeks, maybe once a month, and then you have money to go do stuff, whether it's vacation or maybe even out on a bigger date, things like that. And next is set a gift budget. And this is I like this. So many of the times, what ends up happening is one person will buy their partner a gift, and then it comes around for that person's birthday or Christmas or whatever, and they're like, well, they spent like $200. I have to outdo them. And the next thing you know, it's like $300. And so then it's like, then it comes back to your turn again. You're like, well, I can't spend less than her one she did on me. So it's like, okay, now I have to spend $300. And then it just goes higher and higher and higher and higher. And the way I look at it, it's like, when you're both grown-ups, whatever you really, truly want, you could just go out and buy. Like, there's nothing to a point, maybe like a car or something like that, but that's quite a gift. But there's nothing you can really buy that the other person can't really buy themselves. So what me and my girlfriend have done, because there's so many different occasions, right? You have Valentine's Day, and then you have your anniversaries, then you have your birthdays, and you have Christmases, and all these other random holidays that you have to do things for. And it's just like, all right, how about we do this? We started celebrating every other one. So instead of just like boom, 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 because most of our holidays and birthdays and stuff all are within like 3-4 months in together, we just celebrate every other one. Or we do things like, instead of spending a bunch of money on gifts, we do like an experience, something that we can experience together, instead of just, oh, here's some clothes I bought you, that you could have bought yourself and probably picked out better. Last is to have monthly check-ins. Comes back down to like communication. It's key to have monthly check-ins to see where your partner's at financially. So, if they're maybe went over their budget a little bit, at least they have some accountability. I know that's what my girlfriend likes, is having someone that's, she needs to be accountable for. So, yeah. And here's a few more that I thought of that have really helped me is obviously communication is key. Like, I was talking to my friend and I was like, hey, how much does your girlfriend make? And they've been dating for about 4 years. He's like, I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? He's like, well, we never talk about that stuff. I'm like, you have no idea what she makes. And you've been together for 4 years. You're planning on living together. Like, that's the thing. It's like, you need communication. You need communication for all sorts of things. And obviously, if you're living together or going to live together or are currently living together, you need to know what the other person's, money habits are, because money is very important. It's a huge reason why people get divorced and break up and all sorts of stuff. So you need to have communication with that. Another thing you need to do is have a budget. Make sure that if this is more for like people that are married or been living together for a long time. You don't want one person just spending every dime they have. They're in tons of credit card debt, and the next thing you know, you go to buy a house or some big purchase, and you're like, what's that? You have $50,000 in debt, and actually you're hurting me, and now we can't get the loan. So you need to have a budget. You need to have communication to see what they're spending their money on, and just make sure you guys are on the same page. Another important thing is having a shared goal. I think that's very key. It's very key for your relationship. It's very key for finances. Talk to your partner, whatever your shared goal. It could be something as simple as like a vacation. Like, hey, we want to go to here. Let's save up for that, right? Budget ourselves, save up for that shared goal. Or maybe it's a house. So you're like, look, how much do you make? How much do I make? Okay, let's figure out how much we can save. Each put into the pot what we think we can, actually do, and then save up for that shared goal. And the last thing I think you should add in is invest. Whether investing separately or together, I think you should invest together and have another little separate investment together so you can build that thing together, and that can go into your shared goals of maybe getting a house or a vacation or something like that. Just so, you need to be on the same page about this kind of stuff. So that's kind of like my thoughts on this article, and it's definitely, finances are a big deal. So make sure you talk to your partner about it and figure it out. All right. Have a good weekend.